remember, if your viewers will remember, that fear is associated solely with the thought of taking a risk. And that risk could be a big change or a big challenge in your life, financial, spiritual, relational, dietary, religious, what have you. Well, I know Frank McKinney is afraid every day of his life, but I don't let fear stop me. That's the difference. I feel the fear. I know the fear is associated with a big change or challenge, and that causes me to say, in most instances, yes, I'm going to take the risk.
Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Wellness 360. I'm Carmen Milagro, and today we not only have a fantastic guest, but we're discussing mindset and one way to deal with adversity. Now, as many of you already know, our goal here at Wellness 360 is to examine our health and our well-being from a 360 lens, and we explore different philosophies, different opinions, viewpoints. We share different experiences and expertise in the multi-billion-dollar health and wellness industries. And we cover topics from hemp CBD to other plant medicine, as well as chiropractic care and confidence strategies. And we'll try to shoot for everything else in between. Now, sometimes we discuss what health and wellness means for each of us as individuals. And then other times we blow apart the myths that we've been taught to believe about our minds, our spirit, our bodies, and how we live our lives. Now, you'll hear me say time and time again, be sure to do your own research, decide which ideas, which suggestions, modalities, lifestyles, or protocols resonate with you, and which doctors, experts, coaches, or healers that you want to continue to learn from. Trust, verify, adapt, and implement. And remember, whatever we share with you, it's always your choice to accept or reject any of the information that's on this show. You're your own best advocate. So my guest today on Wellness 360 is Frank McKinney, and here's some background information for context. Frank McKinney is a true modern-day Renaissance man who pushes the limits of success every day, but his early years were not that promising. Upon attending his fourth high school in 4 years and after 7 stints in juvenile detention, he earned his high school diploma with a 1.8 GPA, and then with $50 in his pocket and without the benefit of further education. He left his native Indiana for Florida in search of his life's highest calling. Today, Frank's life is a testament to the power of creating a new reality for oneself. And he's well known as a coach and aspirational speaker, as well as a real estate artist. And he's been described as the daredevil developer. He's created 44 oceanfront mansions with an average price of $14 million that he sold. And as an actor and keynote speaker, Frank McKinney has starred in 4 movies and keynoted before audiences of up to 10,000 people around the world. And he's also a best-selling author and has written 8 books in 7 genres. His newest book, Adversatology, Overcoming Adversity When You're Hanging On by a Thread, was just recently released. Physically, Frank has especially pushed the limits of his body, his mind, and his spirit by racing 12 times in the Badwater Ultramarathon. Now, I've barely scratched the surface of all of Frank McKinney's accomplishments, but now you have some idea about Frank's incredible journey. And today, we'll talk about how he's handling his recent double knee replacement and how his mindset and aspirational beliefs help his overall recovery. So without further ado, it's time to bring on the man himself. I'm excited to welcome and share with you Mr. Frank McKinney. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Carmen.
How are you?
I'm coming to you today from our North Carolina treehouse.
Oh, you built another one.
You've been to my Florida treehouse, which we sold, and we sold the whole house actually about a year ago. And we have kind of relocated to this beautiful little town called Canton, North Carolina, where you can kind of see over my shoulder. I'm surrounded by windows and trees, and I'm 30, 40 feet up in the trees, and I can't wait to add your program to that resume you just read about me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited because we've done this a couple of times. So we've come a long way, Frank. We've come from YouTube to now expandiTV, which is, kind of something to celebrate. So thank you for being with me on this journey.
No, I've watched your journey, Carmen, and I am really proud of how far you have come. Remember the first time we met, I was in some basement and we were having trouble with your technology. And now here you are with this Health 360 program. And I'm real excited to share in a short period of time. I know we only got 15 minutes or so,
Yes,
what we
yes.
can do with your guests. I'm really, really pleased that just the release of my book, Adversatology, will coincide with the thesis of your program.
Yes, this is great because I gave that all that background information so that people could get an idea, a sense of who you are for those that don't know you. But Frank, there's no question you are a daredevil, you are a thrill seeker, but what was it about this ultra marathon that drew you in? And for those people who don't know what is the Badwater ultra marathon?
So an ultra marathon is any race longer than a traditional marathon. So it could be 50K, which is 31.1 miles. It would be 50 miles. It would be 100 miles. Anything longer than 26.2. I got hooked by accident, and we'll save the long story, on what the National Geographic calls the toughest foot race in the world, which is this 135-mile race across the Death Valley Desert in July on blacktop pavement that's over 200 degrees. The ambient daytime temperature is 125 degrees, and you're running nonstop on that blacktop for 48 hours, or else you don't finish. You have a 48-hour time limit. If you don't finish within that 48 hours, you're disqualified. To put it in perspective, about 960 people have finished the Badwater Ultramarathon dating back to the early 1980s. Over 5,500 people have summited Mount Everest. So that's how tough this race is. There's only 100 people that are invited from 25 or 6 countries at that start line every year. And I've been honored to hear that start gun go off 12 times, but I wouldn't say but. I have finished 7 of those races, and I have failed to finish 5.
Sure. But that's incredible. And the reason, obviously, one of the reasons that we're talking about this is how does your Badwater ultra marathon mindset translate into your real life?
It's very simple. And let's use the race, the Badwater Ultramarathon, as a metaphor for the insurmountable, the incomprehensible, and the impossible in life. So if you think about it, just like I thought, running 135 miles in 125-degree heat nonstop on pavement that was 200 degrees, that's insurmountable, incomprehensible, and impossible. I call them the 3 I's.
Right.
I had 2 choices. I could become intimidated by that mind-blowing concept of running that far, that long, in that kind of heat, or I could hire a trainer, I could hire a coach, I could put my mind to becoming like one step away from the couch as a couch potato to someone who has finished the toughest foot race in the world 7 times. So when we're faced with the insurmountable, the incomprehensible, and the impossible in life, one test I put those things through is the regret test. So when we are in our rocking chair on our front porch when we're 85 years old, we're going to have regrets, Carmen.
Sure.
I do not want to regret what I didn't do. If I'm going to regret something, I'll regret doing it. I want to regret trying it. I want to regret, hey, we had $100 million house we were going to build. We decided not to do that. And, look, I gave it a go, but I don't regret not the 5 Badwater races that I didn't finish. What if I decided not to go to the start line? I would regret not trying. So that mindset of pursuing the insurmountable, the incomprehensible, and the impossible has transferred over to my business life, my personal, just my life in general. And
Sure.
I can't tell you, since that first race in 2005, what has changed for me in my life. The houses we built have been more beautiful and more creative. The books that I've written, like you mentioned, 8 books in 7 genres. I don't think any of that would have happened had I not pursued the insurmountable, the incomprehensible, and the impossible.
Wow. And I love how you just break it down. You break it down for all of us because maybe it's not the ultra marathon. Maybe it's starting a new business. Maybe it's just taking a trip to somewhere that you've never been. If you don't do it, that I agree with you because that's kind of how I tend to live my life. I've made a lot of mistakes and I've had so much growth because I tried.
Yeah. So what holds us back though when that insurmountable, incomprehensible, impossible lays itself on our heart? One word, it's fear. And let's just talk about that if we can for a second. So fear is associated with the thought of taking a risk, not with the actual taking of the risk. Think
True.
about it. When you hop into a roller coaster and that bar comes down over your waist and the car starts clickety clackety up the hill, your heart's ready to explode out of your chest, but nothing's happened. You're safe and sound in that car. It's the thought of what is about to happen that causes our heart rate to rise and our blood pressure to go up. Once that car goes over the hill, once that's the metaphor for taking the risk in life, what happens? We throw our hands in the air, we start hooting and hollering, and when the ride's done, let's say the business endeavor is done, we get to the back of the line and we do it over again. So if you remember, if your viewers will remember that fear is associated solely with the thought of taking a risk, and that risk could be a big change or a big challenge in your life, a financial,
Sure.
spiritual, relational, dietary, religious, what have you. I say, I know Frank McKinney is afraid every day of his life, but I don't let fear stop me. That's the difference. I feel the fear. I know the fear is associated with a big change or challenge, and that causes me to say, in most instances, yes, I'm going to take the risk.
Right. Right. And that's part of our whole wellness, right? That is part of the whole of who we are. And hopefully we're inspiring, even if it's one person, to get over that fear and change their life. Now you talk about creating your own reality and aspire, which by the way, I still keep that. I have a rotating list of books. That one is a permanent fixture on my nightstand, just so you know.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I appreciate it so much because there have been times where I'm like, I need a little extra something. And, sometimes you can't always reach out to someone else. But I have your book. So that's what I do. That's what I do for me. But your latest book, Adversatology, Overcoming Adversity When You're Hanging On by a Thread. I'd like to tie this all together for our viewers and our listeners because there are times where, we are, oh, wow, I've reached this. I've accomplished this. I'm climbing upward or onward. And then something happens which may set us back. Could you share with us just the point of the book, like the top 3 points of this new book, and how does it relate to having your double knee surgery, the double
So,
knee replacement?
so very quickly, adversatology is a made-up word, but you know what theology is, you know what geology is, the study of the earth, the study of religion. This is the study of adversity. And in this case, in the subtitle, Overcoming Adversity When We're Hanging On by a Thread. I had a death sentence handed down to me on March 20th, the day the country was shut down in COVID, March 11th, 2020. I had a diagnosis that I won't repeat because I don't like to give it any energy. That's one of the things you learn about an adversity. You do not feed it any energy, but rest assured, it was a death sentence. And I chose to not tell a soul. I told 5 people, my mom, my wife, my daughter, my spiritual advisor, and my therapist. I have 5 sisters and brothers. I didn't even tell them I was going to die. I went through this process of, if you look at the cover of the book, I just hold it up very quickly. You can see the hand hanging on by a thread. There's a big thick rope, but it's tied together by just a thread. I went through this process where I chose, I'll give you the 3 top chapters. There's 9 chapters that spells out the word adversity, ADVERSITY. The A chapter, acceptance. I accepted the fact I got my head out of the sand. I quit denying the fact that my magic carpet ride might be over, that this guy who was covered in Teflon might not be, and that this may end very, very soon. I accepted that, so I'm not fighting it. The second, the D word, the D chapter. So A is acceptance. D, disidentify. Disidentify from your adversity, meaning you're giving it no energy. Carmen, the things we renounce are the things we give energy to. The things we fight are the things we empower. I quit fighting it. I understood what it was that I had, and that led me to the V chapter. And this is perfect for your listeners now. Violate fate. Violate fate. So in that chapter, you have well-intentioned people in your life that are kind of dictating your fate for you as you're going through an adversity. Could be a lawyer if you're going through a divorce or bankruptcy. Could be your doctor, like in my case, he was telling me I might die. I chose to collaborate, violate the fate that was being projected on me, and choose to change the mind of fate itself. And so here, I've been 2 years. I've been completely clear of this intruder that was in my bloodstream, and now, Carmen, everyone watching this will go through some form of physical, financial, spiritual, or relational adversity. The goal and the objective, and what now I have seen it accomplished with the book, it helps you get through it quicker and with less pain. I cannot help you avoid it.
Sure.
So when you talk about health being a choice, right? This is a choice we have. I've got good and bad news for your viewers and listeners. You're not going to change. Nobody watching this program is going to change. You've got two choices. You could reignite something that's been suppressed inside you due to, oppressive youth and all the things that happened to you when you were young. You could reignite that, or you can redirect a destructive tendency into something constructive. Because psychiatrists and psychologists say we don't change after the age of 12. So this health choice, this health 360, this is something that you want to define a purpose, why you want to, change your health, and also know that there's something inside that you want to redirect or reignite so that you can have that health back. That's exactly what Adversatology did for me. It gave me my life back.
Absolutely. And having gone through something so massively, most people with that kind of news, I suspect most people are going to crumble. So when you applied these principles that you write about, and now you've been running the marathon. I'm going to circle back here. You've been running this marathon for 12 years. Your knees now need replacement. How did all of that
So I crumbled. Don't get me wrong. I crumbled. If you read the first chapter in the book, I actually had a very violent outburst of temper when I was given my death sentence. I just couldn't believe the magic carpet ride was over so quickly. I was on top of the world when this death sentence was given to me. Just sold a $15 million house. Everything was perfect. Right. So as I got through that life-threatening adversity, I then, after that was over, was faced with the fact that I have 40,000 miles on my knees. Right. Both cartilage and both knees are gone. I went to my doctor, violating fate again, and I said, or doctors, I finally found one that said, Frank, you're healthy enough. I want to give you what you want back, which is your ability to run. Ask any doctor if you can run after a knee replacement. Most of them will say no. This guy said, you're going to run, and I'm going to replace both knees at the same time because I believe you're strong enough. There's only about 0.5% of people that have that done. Carmen, within a month, I'm 2 months in today from that double knee replacement. Within a month, I was walking, kind of shuffling about a mile or two. I'm up to six miles, and some of those miles are in the 12-minute mile range. This is with two completely brand new knees. So another example of applying what I wrote about in Adversatology, accepting, disidentifying, violating fate, and there's 6 other chapters in there that spell out the word adversity. And I'm a living, testament to the power of, yes, the mind, but we have to go through that crumbling phase. Like I am not superhuman. I crumbled. We will all crumble when faced with adversity. the quicker we accept it, and then we move through the other 8 steps, the quicker we'll get it behind us, and we'll know how to do it next time with less pain.
Right. And that, I think, is a beautiful way to wrap this up. I do wish that we could have more time, because I learn something new every day, but I also learn by following you on the socials. I was watching you. I saw a couple of your posts when you were going into surgery, and then a few days later, you were walking. And I think that this is what's so important, is to share these stories, because someone out there, one person out there, needs to hear this today or tomorrow when they live stream it, or next month when they live stream it. So thank you so much, Frank, because I know you're busy. You just jumped off a plane to join me here, and I appreciate it so much. How do people get your books, including your new one?
Well, the important thing, just a macro statement before we wrap up, is I want to seek aspiration from somebody who's done it. I don't want a guru. I don't want a snake oil salesman. That's why I didn't tell anybody about my illness, Carmen. I wanted to get through the end of it and live, and then write the book to show how I did it. So, I would suggest people go to Adversatology, just adversatology.com. There they can get a free chapter. They can read a free chapter. They can listen to a free Audible chapter. Wait till you listen to the Audible version of this book. It's cutting edge. Me third person, me first person, my wife reading her part, my daughter reading her part, narrating their part. Adversatology.com. Check out the reviews, free chapters, free Audible, and see if it can't help you overcome one of your adversities, health adversities, so you can become a better, stronger, healthier person.
This is wonderful, as always. Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you. And you just wrapped it up just nice with the perfect bow. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Carmen.
Have a great day. I know you've got a meeting and you've got to go. So thank you again. And it's so nice to see you in person.
Hi, everybody. You guys are fortunate to have Carmen. You're very fortunate. It's a great program. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Frank. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our viewers who do tune in week after week. I honestly could talk to Frank for hours. And I have been fortunate where I was able to attend his book release for Aspire, which is the one that I keep on my night table. And I have not, at the time that we just recorded this, I haven't read the new one, but believe me, trust me, I am all over this new book, Adversatology by Frank McKinney. And again, if you want to learn more about Wellness 360 and other guests' opinions and viewpoints, just follow us on the socials. And, everything that has to do with Davina, everything that has to do with Wellness 360 or Wellness by Davina, you can just follow us on the socials, or just scan the QR code at the end of this episode. So that's pretty much it for us this time. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. I hope that you'll take to heart what Frank McKinney has shared with us today and get the book. Get that book, trust me, or get Aspire, or get any of the other ones. But he is an amazing coach, an amazing motivational, aspirational speaker. And you saw it firsthand today. I really appreciate his time and energy. Trust me when I say he just jumped off the plane to do this. And until next time, I'm Carmen Milagro. This is Wellness 360.